One of the fundamental factors that aid speedy development in a thriving economy in both developed and developing countries globally is robust export trade. A strong argument in its favor is its revenue-generating capacity, as it creates avenues for earnings of much-needed foreign exchange, which translates to more revenues for governments and consequently higher contributions to GDP and growth of the local economy. Export trade, apart from widening market for goods produced locally, also creates international cooperation and poverty reduction, as it serves as catalyst for job and wealth creation. Nigeria, as at today, survives mainly on monoproduct, crude oil. Unfortunately so. The world we live in today is fast reducing its dependency on fossil fuels gotten from crude oil as the primary source of energy. The new attraction is non-fossil fuel and other renewable energy sources for their environmental friendliness. Predictably, Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings from crude oil will drop. The foreseeable way out of this national tragedy is a return to agriculture and non-oil exports. Though policymakers at the national level have been mouthing diversification and increase in non-oil export for years, unfortunately, the fruit of that effort is yet to be felt.
If you look at the size of the federal government budget, if 10% of that could be devoted to agric, national and the federating levels, if we could get that figure voted for agriculture, it would be very meaningful. Then worse still is the fact that even when the budget figures are there less than 10%, the releases, they don't come. Most times they come late. Sometimes the budget is passed when the year is half done. These are issues that make it not really very possible for government to participate meaningfully in agri-development.
It is against this backdrop that the Delta State government, under the watch of Senator Dr. Arthur Ifeanyi-Okowa, initiated the policy that birthed Delta State Foods Export Initiative to give potency to Delta Beyond Oil policy with an eye for standard quality gari for export to roll in the much needed foreign exchange and put her on a surer path for sustainable economic growth, development and prosperity. To demonstrate government's commitment to the export trade, Senator Dr. Okowa launched the Gari Export Initiative not too long ago.
As we step out into the world with the Delta quality Gari in the next few years to come, this will become very impactful on our people out there, because I know that we are Gari farmers, and I know that with this first step that we have taken, that is going to be a life-changing event for our people. So look out for the prosperity that follows on this.
Locally, if you go to every community, every village, you see some local productions there. But when it comes to industrialized manner, that is what we are talking about. It's not just local production, but this one is going to go more of a macro form. Of course, the GDP of the state and the entire country will increase. Of course, the employment rate will also definitely increase.
The Food Exports Initiative will obviously require tons and tons of raw cassava. Hence the question, does Delta State have what it takes to produce cassava in commercial quantity to meet the Food Exports Initiative? Smart Delta Media went to the Ministry of Agriculture for answers.
The ecosystem here supports gari production. We have a good organized cassava farmers association around. And then government on its own already initiated a lot of programs towards making this cassava available for gari production. In 2017, we procured 10,175 cassava bundles.
Delta State is strategically located in terms of production of cassava to boost the production without necessarily doing millions of hectares. Presently, we do about 13 to 15 metric tons per hectare, but we're sure that with the introduction of good cassava cuttings, we could rise up to 20-25 metric tons.
The processes leading to final production of quality gari for export is quite intense, as timelines and standards must never be compromised. As customary with Smart Delta Media, we took off to the farms where the cassava is uprooted to begin the process. As naive as we were in farm ethics, we upset a colony of soldier ants minding their own business and rightly got the sting-happy creatures all over us. Having got rid of the ants, we tried our hands uprooting some cassava as we joined the farmers in the act.
The road to garri processing for export begins right here on the farms. And that Delta State has comparative advantage in cassava production is evidenced by the size of cassava tubers we have just uprooted right here on the farms. Now, this is going to be transported all the way to the model center, where the process of turning these cassava tubers into garri for export begins in earnest.
The concept of the Food Export Initiative as designed by the Delta State government is multifaceted. Alongside its core objective of earning the much-needed foreign exchange, which could be utilized to import scarce capital goods for economic development of the state, it has taken on the extra burden of linking cassava farmers and processors to domestic and export markets in order to ensure better prices and higher incomes, as well as buying directly from the farmers on their farms. This much was attested to by the Afamefuners.
By buying from me, you have helped me from so many things. For instance, before you sell it 1,000 naira, you who has the farm, you will carry it to a mill, you will pay the transportation of taking to that place, you will mill it, you look for firewood. At the end of the day, when they give you 1,000 naira, you have already spent up to 600 naira. So your gain is very small. But now that the government is buying it, it's better for us, because once they buy it, all those processes you no longer pass it. So government will carry it, they know how to process it, they know how to do it. So they just give you your cool money. You go chop, laugh.
It is a big opportunity and pleasure of having government to come into my farm to buy cassava tubers for garri processing. I've prepared my mind on producing more than what I used to produce before.
This is an avenue for us to plant more. Planting more means more hands, which you get more laborers. They will work on your farm, you pay them, and keep your farm very, very clean so that you have a good cassava like this. So it takes a lot of load out of us. So we are happy.
The first 2 days in the chain of processing are crucial to ensure the final product passes quality test. Arriving at one of the 3 model garri processing centers in the state, the raw tubers are weighed, after which ready hands are engaged to start peeling the tubers.
This is the raw from the farm. By the time we weigh now, we have our actual weight of the raw tuber. When we weigh, if we divide by 4, we should not be able to have estimated quantity of high quality garri we are going to get from this raw tuber. That is the essence of weighing.
The outer skin is expertly peeled off to avoid wastage. After this, thorough washing is done in a tub to remove dirt and sand. The clean tubers are then taken for grating into a mash. The grating machine is usually stainless to reduce contamination. Furthermore, other hygienic conditions here must be top-notch, and everyone involved in the process must be properly costumed to reduce the risk of contamination. Grating done and dusted, 160 milligrams of refined palm oil, bleached and deodorized, free of fatty acids, RBDPO, is added and mixed. This gives it the slight yellowish color, which must be even all round. At this point, the yellowish mash is scooped and bagged in clean polypropylene bags of 25 kg per portion and left for 24 hours for fermentation to take place. The hydrolysis taking place reduces cyanide content to save human consumption levels.
The bitter tubers we use have what we call the cryogenic glucosides. And these cryogenic glucosides, when they hydrolyze, they give rise to hydrogen cyanide. Now, for you to get rid of this hydrogen cyanide, you have to subject it again to another hydrolysis. And those hydrolysis, part of what you do when you hydrolyze them, when you ferment, when you have not pressed the cassava, you just, after grating, you just leave it there. When you are leaving it there, it's undergoing hydrolysis. And that process also, fermentation is also going on. In that process, the hydrogen cyanide is being expelled out of the product.
Some of the people involved in the process hail the initiative, especially for its job and wealth component.
I'm very happy to see this kind of work for my own village. The governor tried well. Even we where they farm for this area self, we never see this type of igari. The cassava where they bring for the company, even big past fish where they inside water. This one are for governor. I hail am for that one.
I like it as he bring the thing to making people to come in here, come and do the igari. So we like it very well. It reduces poverty for us, so we are ready to come in here every time.
Uwade Hyacinth, the manager of the Model Processing Center, emphasizes that hygiene is never taken lightly within the plant, as he realizes any misstep would disqualify their product from meeting export standards.
We are doing all this fighting against germs just to make sure that the gari is on the hygienic level.
You better run, come to Delta State. Come and see the good things where Okowa they do. You better run, come to Delta State. Come and see the good things where Okowa they do. I see your job and work creation in Delta make the youth say them highlight. Okowa. I see good roads everywhere in Delta make the people say them cola. Empowerment for the farmers in Delta. Good quality education in Delta. Well-equipped hospitals here in Delta. Peace and security, no legal.
On account of the huge demand for standard quality gari for export, the government of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa is partnering with the private sector. It is collaborating with Winosa Foods, one of the model centers in the state, to meet up demands. Part of the deal includes upgrading of facility and equipment of Winosa Foods to perform optimally. Smart Delta Media was taking on a facility tour.
Before they came in here, I was producing gari about 2 tons a week. But when they came in, I produced virtually a ton every day. A ton, that is 4 tons of raw cassava fried to 1 ton of gari, so that they will be able to meet up with the export program that they are promoting.
Winosa Foods is of very strong opinion that government is moving in the right trajectory, as the export initiative has energized cassava farmers in Delta State. Hear her.
We have clusters all over the state. So because they know Winosa consume a lot of cassava disease, they have been able to form a group. Anyone that has a diner among them takes it upon himself, collect cassava from their farmers, their clusters, and they supply. If this one supply today, the other group supply tomorrow.
She is very thankful to government for the export initiative, as the policy has made her more quality driven than quantity conscious. She also did not mince words about the job and wealth creation opportunities.
The farmers are happy that I'm taking their food. The women that are doing the job, they are happy. I am happy as they are taking the market from me too, because since I have a ready market, I don't have any problem producing.
Smart Delta.
On the second day in the production process, the bags containing grated cassava mash are then loaded into the presser after it has been thoroughly washed. At this stage, a hydraulic device is used to compress the bags to dewater and dry. This process is repeated many times and lasts for 24 hours.
This hydraulic jack device in the presser helps to extract every single drop of water from the grated cassava, and the pressing process itself takes place for another 24 hours to enable it to dry properly. After that, the next process in the chain of making quality garri continues.
On day 3, it is pressed again for a few more times before it is let loose. Now properly dried, the cassava cake is pulverized in the grater preparatory to toasting or garrification, which is frying in the local parlance. As the garrification by women recruited for the purpose is in full gear, we ask them what their experiences have been.
I like the fact we are using gas to toast this garri because it is smoke-free. We are happy for the job opportunity this government initiative has created because the youths and women can have gainful employment from it.
The toasted garri is then spread out on clean surface to cool. With the cooling complete on day 4, it was time to sieve the garri to separate finer granular size from lumps. Ndekan Sam and Charles Chejine from Job Creation, drivers of this process, talked to Smart Delta on various aspects of this process.
The other ones which have been taken away in our local balance, we call them bobo garri. It's not actually waste because from the factory it could be given out to the feed mill industries where they could actually buy it and use it in processing live feed. Even those in pig farming can even take it to feed their pigs. So it's not actually waste.
With this process now, it has been an eye-opener. Thinking that cassava is just for garri local consumption, it has now opened my eye that it can even at international level, you can make good money.
After the toasting or garrification and the cooling process is completed, we just witnessed the sieving of the garri for export. What I have here in my hand is a sample of this garri. This will be taken to the laboratory where the lab technician will check to see if this garri has met export standards, which includes testing for hydrogen cyanide, testing for moisture content, testing for granular size, and even extraneous particles, and many more. It is only after the lab technician has certified this garri fit, meeting all of these standards, that it will now be bagged and ready for exportation and will find its way on the tables in the UK, in America, in Germany, and other parts of the world.
Not to miss out on any aspect of this process, Smart Delta Media team followed up Dr. Friday Okey, a chartered chemist in charge of quality control, packaging and branding facility of the Delta State Food Export Initiative, to the laboratory to witness the lab analysis of the garri.
This is our oven, and it's a thermostated oven with temperature control. This is what we use in estimating the amount of moisture in a product.
Okay, so now that you put those samples inside, yes, what exactly happens in there?
Yes, as the sample enters here, the moisture is being taken away. That is, with the heat, it's now expelling out the moisture. Now we have taken note of the weight before. Then after, we also take the weight. The difference, we now do the calculation and get the percentage moisture in the product. Even from this filtrate alone, if you try to be the garri you see in the market, you even see a sand deposit. Just do a trial, you will see.
The analysis is too technical for a layman to understand, but suffice it to say that Dr. Okey further shed more light on other things he must look out for to meet strict quality control.
The ash content of the product signifies the amount of minerals in the product. Then outside the ash content, we have what we call the acid insoluble ash. The acid insoluble ash signifies to tell you that there are extraneous materials. So we make sure that this product also meets the minimum level of ash content so that the product will be of good quality to the final consumers.
Dr. Okey also emphasized that the rationale behind having uniform granular size is to dispel any suspicion that the products may have come from different sources. One interesting thing about this Gari product is that it can be consumed or ingested in two different ways. It can either be eaten baked with hot water and eaten with soup, or taken like cereal garnished with other supplements. We had a chat with families enjoying this quality food.
Only the packaging attracted me first. If I see them for market, I just buy them so I make them. You see them? Very, very correct and very smooth.
I would recommend this Gari for everyone to eat, especially those in abroad. We are testifying about this Gari. Yes. It's good for everyone to consume.
I always like eating pounded yam and starch before, but immediately I try eating this yellow Gari, I enjoy it so much. So from now, I will start eating this Gari.
Wow, this is really nice.
Branding of a product is as important as the product itself because this invites people to buy the product. In this regard, we spoke to Mrs. Shimite Bello, a member of the Food Export Initiative. What she had to tell us was instructive.
We know what we're looking for. We know the colors that are friendly to the eyes. We know the colors that bring premium prices. And we chose blue. Blue is very cool. It's very soothing. We want everything that can invite you into spending that premium. And I would say that we also did a little survey to see what people think about the packaging. And I'll tell everybody we surveyed, they were very happy, they were very pleased.
Smart Delta Media also paid a visit to the packaging factory and quality control where the final work is done. The state government invested huge sums in the facility as it is a key and integral part of the success story of this initiative.
From input to output is free of human touch, the core of the standard operating procedure for hygienic quality.
After meeting all these stringent conditions, the state government has exported 36 metric tons so far, the equivalent of 3 containers of standard quality Gari into Europe. The commodity can easily be purchased over the shelves in the UK and elsewhere. Likewise, it can also be found in major supermarkets around Nigeria. In fact, we had a chat with the procurement manager of a major retailer's outlet, and this was what he had to say.
For a product to come into our organization, it must be well packaged first and foremost. Now, so far, it has been well packaged. We've not had any issues of inferiority in both packaging and in the product itself. So I can tell you that it has met our own standard, which is also good enough for the market.
The Food Export Initiative has 2 products which have been certified by NAFDAC. They are the 2 kg and 10 kg Gari for export. It is also instructive to know that the Okowa-led administration has been proactive by getting a trademark registration of Class 30 of goods and services from the Federal Ministry of Trade and Industry. By this registration, the state can market Gari and other food products locally and internationally after meeting NAFDAC required standards.
I believe everything is well covered. The only thing I would say is buy our Delta Gari. It's called Chop One, Come Back.
The Delta State government, under the watch of Senator Dr. Arthur Ifeanyi-Okowa, is blazing the trail in many areas, and the Food Export Initiative is yet another trade of his intention to build a stronger Delta.
come to Delta State. Come and see the good things where Okowa they do you better. Run, come to Delta State. Come and see the good things where Okowa they do. I see your job and work creation in Delta make the youth say them higher. Okowa. I say good roads everywhere in Delta make the people say them cola. Come live in Delta. Say me I say. Come invest in Delta. Come explore the potentials of our state.